Yo, Drake has equaled Michael Jackson's record for most Billboard Hot 100 number ones. This is Fresh Hip Hop Opinion with your guy Oleezeh. Don't forget to subscribe. So yeah, Drake has equaled MJ's record with his 13th number one hit on the Billboard Hot 100 list. Impressive list, Mr. OVO. Impressive list indeed. Tried to do a Dr. Evil voice there. That didn't quite work. And Mr. Drake celebrated the impressive feat by going out for drinks with his people, wearing an inspired glitter glove, tip his hat to MJ, who is obviously a legend. He also posted an AI image of Michael Jackson with the OVO hoodie on. It's pretty cool, pretty freaky how real it actually looked if you haven't seen it. But big up Drake, it's a big feat. Michael Jackson obviously is a legend, so to hit that kind of record, equal his record, and obviously Drake's gonna pass it, you gotta give him his accolades when it's due, even if you're not a Drake fan. And I know there's a lot of you haters out there. But the song that made Drake get that record or equal MJ's record is a song he did on his latest album with J. Cole called First Person Shooter, that hot collaboration. But here's the list of artists on the Hot 100 number ones list. Well, here's a few of them anyway. So you got Stevie Wonder, who's got 10. You got Janet Jackson, who's also got 10. Whitney Houston, who has 11. I didn't think she had that many, but that's really cool. The Supremes and Madonna on 12. I'm surprised with the Supremes, but yeah, Madonna, yeah, fair play. Yeah, I thought she'd be up there. MJ and Drake's on 13, and big girl Riri, you do your thing, girl. She's on 14 number ones. And then you got Mariah Carey with 19. Then you got the Beatles with 20. The Beatles, I'm not surprised. The Beatles just run things back in the day. 60s and 70s, they had it on lock. But obviously Drake hitting this type of feat has got a reaction from most, and the Breakfast Club have chimed in, giving the OVO general his props. Even Charlemagne the God, who is not shy of criticizing Drake, gave him his props. This is what they said.
How are you feeling about, though, you know, him tying with Michael Jackson, but times changing? You know, with Michael Jackson, of course, you had to go out, you had to battle record. Yeah, I mean, is it fair?
Times change. I mean, he's still gonna beat the record. You know, Drake is still a phenomenal artist. You can't take that away from Drake.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I know the first thing people say is Drake isn't no Michael Jackson, and the reality is he's not. But Drake is Drake, and this is still an incredible feat.
It is,
because if it wasn't, someone else would have done it already.
Yeah.
Nobody's done it. You know, so he did it. So salute to Drake. And he got Cole his first number one. And one of our producers, Brandon, he said earlier, he said Drake only got that number one because of Cole. I will push back and say that's not true.
And Joe Budden, who also has had his little back and forth with Mr. Drake recently, had the conversation on his pod. But they had a few interesting little things to say, also regarding the streaming aspect of Drake's accolade. And they also touched on the fact that Drake features on a lot more songs than MJ did. Back in the day, it wasn't like the thing to do to feature on so many songs. Obviously now, they can record songs a lot easier because of the technology, and they just feature on a lot of artist songs. There's a slight more advantage to Drake. But here's what they said.
Like a lot of these stats now, I'm not mad at it, but a lot of these stats,
I'm grateful I got a chance to witness
I take them with a grain of salt, honestly. Just because the streaming thing now is
yeah, that's
it's almost like pulled numbers from the air, damn near.
That's kind of my point. Like they can make you number one if they want to make you number one. Does it include features?
Yes.
The number ones count?
Because
obviously in that day, Mike wasn't hopping on records like that. So there's a little bit of an advantage too in that. But again, Drake is him. I'm not surprised by this at all.
And we all know DJ Academics is a big Drake fan. And he had a conversation on his platform where they were comparing Drake and Michael Jackson. I mean, there was some silly stuff being said, but you know Academics is going to come from his angle because he's a big Drake fan. And obviously he was only like -2 years old when MJ was doing this thing anyway. So what does he really know? But you got to respect his opinion. Here's the silly thing that Academics said.
We talk about lyricism.
How the fuck we talking about Michael Jackson when his hit album, right?
Thriller, the fucking song that matches the name of the album, Thriller, it's not even written by him, bro. That boy a ventriloquist. That boy could do the moonwalk and do some other shit, but he not like Drake. Like, stop playing.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Academics. Listen, yeah. MJ fans will be on you for that type of comment, you know. I think Academics is just trolling there. If you want to compare the record of what Drake's done and what MJ did, cool, it's in black and white. But you can't compare them as artists just because you think that MJ didn't write Thriller. Like, MJ did the moonwalk. You can't compare Drake or any rapper to MJ. It's another whole level. But sure enough, the whole internet is always comparing Drake to the legendary MJ. And hey, if you're Drake, it's a great conversation to be even compared to people he's compared to. Like, I read the list before, absolute legends on there, and Drake's amongst them. I'm sure he's a bit salty that he's behind Rihanna though. Let's keep it real. But anyway, let's get into that convo. Is Drake better than MJ? MJ better than Drake? Or can you even compare? Are they just so different? Let's look at the straight facts that even these lot I mentioned up earlier have provided. MJ was in a time where you actually had to go to the store to buy your music. See the effort we used to go through? Get on the bus, get in your car, walk to the store to buy the music, buy the album, which was not cheap. You know what I mean? Now you just have to stream music. I've streamed music that I don't even care for. I don't even want to hear it again. But I was curious because there's so many people talking about it, so you want to listen to it. Back in the day, if someone's talking about an album, you had to really think, do I want to break off my money, hard-earned cash, to go and buy and listen to this? Or you can just ask a friend for the CD or the tape. But you know what I'm saying. Like, now you just log on to your streaming platform and listen to the music. On that side of things, yeah, it's much easier for Drake to hit these records than MJ. Imagine MJ had streaming platforms back then. He would have been over. He would have trebled what he's got now. But that's not taking away the fact that Drake makes good music. Let's not forget, fans were fainting to see MJ. If you ain't seen it, if you're too young to remember, people were actually fainting and carried out like a streaker in the sports event. I remember those. Not the streakers, I mean the people carried out. But yeah, people are getting carried out of MJ shows and stuff. When he's just walking past, people are fainting, passing out. Wives are leaving their men when their men are right next to them. It was crazy. I don't think Drake has that effect. Drake is not making people faint by the sheer presence of him. Maybe because we're a bit more closer to celebrities than we were back in the day. Celebrities are more an enigma back in the day. So when you saw them, it was a bit more of an event. Now with social media, we're seeing them so often. It's like, it's not such a big deal in a way. It's not even really fair to compare Drake to Michael Jackson. Talent-wise, groundbreaking moves-wise, like, Drake can't be compared to MJ. He can just be compared in terms of number of hits. No one can dispute that Drake's a hit maker, and he's been doing it for a long time. But MJ did it for decades. Drake's been doing it for about 10, 15 years. If that. And don't get me twisted, I am a Drake fan. Not a big fan, but I do like his music. But comparing him to him, you can't even compare Drake to Tupac. And Tupac isn't on an MJ level. He's closer to an MJ level than Drake is. But I don't think anyone would really dare to compare Drake to Tupac. That's probably the best way to put it in perspective. Tupac wasn't a MJ level, so Drake ain't no MJ level, because Drake's not a Tupac level. Mic drop. So I don't think Drake's really winning in this comparison thing I'm doing. I'm not gonna lie. And that wasn't on purpose. But let's get into their little bit of their discography. Drake with Thank Me Later in 2010, Take Care 2011, Nothing Was the Same 2013, which I think is probably his best album. Views 2016, Scorpion 2018, The Certified Lover Boy, ew. No thanks. But that album came out, and then honestly, Nevermind, Nobody Cared, Who Was Black. No, I'm joking. That was not my thing. And then For All the Dogs. Then you got MJ with the Gotta Be There in 1972, Ben in 1972, Music and Me in 1973, Forever Michael 1975, Off the Wall 79, Thriller 82, Bad 87, woo, that album's crazy, Dangerous 1991, History, Past, Present and Future 95, and Invincible in 2001. But look at that discography. Fantastic discography. Both legends. Can you really compare? People are gonna do it anyway for conversation. But you know, in my idea, you can't really compare a rapper with a singer. And if you really want to bring Drake singing against MJ singing, it's even looking worse for Drake. Let's keep it real. You heard me? But you know what? That's my opinion. You've heard other people's opinion today. I want to know your opinion. Get in the comments. Let me know what you think about Drake's accolade of equaling MJ. Did he beat the Beatles? He's not far from it. Probably will. Do you think Drake's a better artist than MJ? Or do you think MJ's still the king? Let me know in the comments, y'all. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It's Fresh Hip Hop Opinion. Peace and love.